Let's look at the plastiform tool within TrueSpace 5 now. First, on a basic plane so we can see what the controls are doing. The plastiform tool is found underneath the subdivision surface icon. A single left click will open one dialog box and a right click will open a second. We need to assign this object or plane to the plastiform tool. There are two options here, select face or select all faces. We'll use select face first. Select that and click on the top of the plane. Now we need to assign a deformation tool. We're going to choose a sphere. Click on that. We can see a sphere appeared and the plane is triangulated and ready for deformation. We've got move, rotate, and scale tools as we have already seen in other tools. I'm just going to right-click and move the deformation sphere underneath the plane. Now we need to activate plastiform. Click on the plastiform icon. Now, once again, right-click and drag the deformation tool vertically. We've got a live update there of our plastiform deformation. But as we selected single face deformation, if we rotate the object around, we can see underneath the plane there is no deformation at all. That plane surface remains intact. Now if we choose the other option, select all faces, and then we select another sphere, the same scenario here. And I'm going to right-click and drag above the plane and then activate plastiform tool. Now drag downwards and move the deform tool around a little to create a pit there. We see now that all the surfaces have been deformed, top and bottom. We can use this to engrave or carve surfaces. Once again, I delete that. And we look at this option here, the density option. It's set here at 0.6. If we move the density up to 0.9 now, select all faces once again. Deformation sphere. We can see the deformation sphere is a lot smaller than we used before. That's because the density has increased. I'll just move that above the plane and activate the plastiform deform. Now I'll drag down onto the plane and we can see we have a much smoother deformation here. We can of course scale that deformation object even more. Once again, continue moving and engraving. Of course, as we had both sides activated for deformation, we've deformed underneath the plane too. We're going to look at the weight setting within plastiform settings now. Once again, select the top face, select the deform object, and then start some deformation. With a weight setting of 0, we can see that the deformity here closely follows the contours of the deform object. If you move this to 1 and then continue deforming, we can now see that the influence over the deform object is much less. The corners are much sharper now. We're going to move on and look at some more practical examples of plastiform.